Hey everyone, I'm RVRocks, and Spirit Theory is dead! I've been making speculative Smash content basically since the beginning of my channel. Back in 2017, it was either my third or fourth video upload. It was actually one of the first ones I had that really took off somehow. And until Min Min for Smash Ultimate, we all kind of assumed spirits were the end-all be-all of a character's inclusion status. If they had a spirit, they weren't included. That was it. No Geno, no one. And, well, thanks to Min Min, once again, we now know that that isn't true. So, with all the spirits on the table, we're off to the races with speculation. Let's go! With a dead spirit theory and floodgates open, it was hard to decide what kind of video to make on the matter, so I thought, why not rank every single spirit in Smash Ultimate based on their potential as a fighter? But there was a few roadblocks. Naturally, you can't rank every single spirit in Smash Ultimate. At the time of recording this thing, there is 1,424 spirits, many of whom are established fighters in the series already, inanimate objects only there for novelty or assist trophies. And until we see an assist trophy as a fighter, I'm willing to hold on to that rule. So in order to narrow down which spirits would make good characters, I had to put a few self-imposed rules in the way. Number 1, are they already a character in the game? It's pointless to rank Mario on this list. Number 2, do they have the potential to be a fighter? This one is more subjective than anything, but with Piranha Plant I think Nintendo has proven multiple times they can just kinda do whatever with characters. So this was basically, can this character reasonably move the way one would expect from a Smash character, jumping, running, and all that. Number 3, are they first party, or if they are not first party, are they the main character of their franchise, or at least well known enough within the franchise to be wanted? Just because a character could make a good Smash character doesn't mean they should automatically be considered. This is like a notoriety check. If I was to allow every person who checked the first 2 rules as a character on this list, it would likely be 4 times as long as this video is. It would also qualify characters such as every Fire Emblem Lord, every Octopath Traveler party member, and every Pokemon that's in the background of one of these Smash stages. Maybe including all of these in a mega ranking sometime in the future could be a fun project, but for right now, that's not what this is. And number 4, have I seen this character requested before somewhere in my years of Smash obsession? This one's a bit more personal, but I think I've been around the block a few times when it comes to Smash, and I will say now that every character on this list is someone I have seen requested, whether it be on Twitter, on the subreddits, or on Smash boards. After careful scrutiny of those 4 rules, I have equaled out 90 potential fighters from across Smash's spirit catalog, from the obscure to the well-known. Here's a quick flash of every character I chose. Now for the next step of this behemoth, how am I going to rank them? I have come up with 8 categories for which to separate the characters and rank within said categories. From best to worst, it is perfect character material, for characters who I think make plenty of sense to be added to Smash, perfect character material but outdated, for characters who I think are perfect but are past their prime in one way or another, perfect as an Echo Fighter, for those characters who are spirits but basically service as clones in their home series, divisive, 50% satisfied, 50% salty, for those characters who would probably make a large splash but anger parts of the Smash community. Basically, picture Byleth. Adds very little to Smash with its inclusion, for characters who are fun, probably have a large group behind them, but aren't really groundbreaking by any means. Really cool character, but an unpopular choice, for those characters who I think have great moveset potential, but are lost amongst the sea of frankly better options. Unnecessary even if wanted by some, which basically means characters who I see requested for series that already have tons of characters or just incredibly niche characters. And why bother? Characters I see requested that are either way too specific from a dead series or has their niche filled by someone else in the roster. Their order within these categories is of course going to be subjective, but the categories each character gets put into, I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Just know that generally for this, when it comes to my opinion, we will be moving from worst to best, starting at the why botherest of why bothers and eventually reaching the perfectest of perfect characters. So yeah, I think I've dawdled on for long enough. Let's get started. Leading the why bother category is Black Shadow. In the lead up to Ultimate, a lot of people, myself included back in the day, were like, oh man, he would be perfect as an Echo Fighter for Captain Falcon. Looking back, I was hoping Ganondorf would be redefined, get a new moveset or something, and Black Shadow would be his successor because slow, powerful Captain Falcon would actually make plenty of sense for this character. But nowadays, Captain Falcon's basically a relic of a dead series, and while I think another F-Zero combatant someday would be nice, Black Shadow kinda missed his chance to be relevant, and all of us wanting him as an Echo were kinda fooling ourselves. Next up is this group of Zelda characters, but since we are doing worst to best, I will get my personal bias out. Aghanim, Yuga, Vati, Marin. Every single Smash game, people want there to be more Zelda representation, and well, there never really is. This has led to people to wanting just about every Zelda character. There are better choices in the other Zelda spirits, you will see them later. Let us not dwell on these four for much longer. Pauline and Nabbit. These two I've seen a few times, and they both run the same problem of really only relevant in one Mario game, Odyssey and Luigi U specifically. And before you say it, I know Pauline was in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong spin-offs, and I know Nabbit has a small part in Mario U, but that still illustrates my point of just how uninvolved these two characters were. There is also better choices for Mario representation. Trevor Belmont and Slippy. These two both fall into the category of being trounced on by other characters. Fox, Falco, and Wolf already have 3 movesets derived from one, and there are 2 Belmonts. One is a clone of the other. If these two were added, they would be stepping way too far into unnecessary. Next up, Poochie. I love this dog so goddamn much, and he isn't outright bad as a character like the prior characters were, but he just has so little potential. He's adorable, and I'm appreciative he keeps showing up in the Yoshi games, but I think people who request him really just want another Yoshi character. And lastly, Lip from Panel de Pon. While I see the merit in including Lip, her series is past its prime and more so a puzzle game. I respect those who want her, but she kinda falls into the same category as Arl from Puyo Puyo for me, which is to say, kinda uninteresting as a character. There's nothing inherently wrong with these character picks, but in the current landscape of Smash, with about 80 characters, I feel like adding another Spacey, another Belmont, or a 4th Mario Princess seems a bit grasping at straws. Especially when there are so many more interesting characters to choose from. Starting off the unnecessary category is Luca from Bayonetta. The thing about most Bayonetta characters is that very few of them actually have any room to simmer as characters, as opposed to set pieces in the action madness that is Bayonetta. Luca is one of those characters. After having played both games, I don't remember much about him other than the fact that he tries to be cool but is mostly played off for comic relief. If Bayonetta was a big enough series to warrant like 5 characters, he's in. But in its current state, nah. Metal Sonic. Maybe I'm a bad Sonic fan, but I never understood the hype behind this guy. I see him requested across the Smash world so often, but is it just me, or is there so many better choices for Sonic characters? Some people say he could be an Echo, and while the dimensions are there, I feel like Metal Sonic is too different to warrant that Echo Epsilon next to his name. Kamek. I've always liked the idea of this Magikoopa getting in as a character. I saw him as a possible way to include the lineage of generic Mario enemies into one moveset, except with Piranha Plant, we already saw an interpretation of trying to convey many enemies into one fighter, and probably a way more unique interpretation than Kamek could ever bring. If Kamek were added now, he would just be another Mario enemy, and frankly, Mario already has a lot of ground in the roster as it is. The Mega Men. But for me personally, in order of worst to best still, .exe, Volnut, Starforce, and X. The ranking of the 4 is my opinion, of course, but I think none of the Mega Men besides Mega Man could really attest to having a place in the Smash roster. It'd be like if Dr. Mario and Mario were the only 2 Mario characters. Now if it was Zero, or some other people we have coming later on this list, that's a different story. Off the Hook. I've seen people say they wanted them and the Squid Sisters in Smash, and I have to think, why? We never really get shown their combat skills, although we know they supposedly exist. These two, to me, are more sorted for something like a Palutena's guidance on Moray Towers, as opposed to being a straight pair of fighters. Mallow. I like the Pushmo games, but this seems much more like an assist trophy or a stage gimmick more than a full-blown fighter in my opinion. Pushmo is a cute series, but making a full-on moveset based off the gimmick of pushing and pulling background objects just seems weird. Although I will concede my statement and say I really love this guy's cute, squishy design. He's adorable, how can you hate this face? Although I maintain he is not up to snuff with other Smash fighters. Groose. Groose is probably one of the most characterized characters in Zelda, which puts him above the other 4 characters in the tier below, but when it comes to either relevancy and moveset potential, I still think there are better contenders for this spot, but the Groosinator as a final Smash would be hilarious. Mona from WarioWare. I think that people's argument for Mona, or any other Wario character, is that since Ashley is an assist trophy, they need another character in the WarioWare franchise that isn't her. And frankly, I don't think so. WarioWare is called WarioWare. They have Wario in the game already. I was personally rooting for Ashley as a Smash character this time around once again, but I still don't really think that Wario is a series that warrants more than one fighter. More so than Yoshi, hence its placement in this tier, but still not a big enough series. Machamp, and this spot can account for basically any Pokemon spirit you want to throw into this list for me. I like Pokemon, but none of the Pokemon spirits are a headliner from a new generation. Well, there's the starters, but they'd probably add Cinder, Ace, or Rillaboom, not Scorbunny, and Grookey. Pokemon has its own series of spin-offs to throw all their Pokemon into. In Smash, they have 10 characters from 5 generations. That's good enough for me. If we never see another Pokemon in Smash, as a Pokemon fan, I'm satisfied. Funky Kong. The only people who want to see this character are those who played Mario Kart Wii. Jokes aside, Funky Kong is not one of the main Kongs, and while he's in most games, he's never really more than a vendor, or as of recently in easy mode. There's better DK reps. King Hippo. He's the only Punch-Out character I put on this list, because while all of Punch-Out's characters have a distinct personality, Hippo is the only one I thought was iconic enough, I guess, to be on this list. But frankly, I really don't think Punch-Out needs another rep. It's a Nintendo series that has gotten 3 games. And while those 3 games are some of the classics and most well-regarded titles from both classic Nintendo and the Wii era, I think Little Mac does a fine job representing the series alone. And lastly, in the unnecessary category, Toad. And the Captain Toad. And Captain Toadette. Did you know that Toadette's spirit isn't classic Toadette, but rather Captain Toadette? Wild, huh? Anyways, Toad is a character that I've never really understood the motive behind as a character. People complained endlessly that there are too many Toads plaguing Paper Mario, but really want Toad in Smash. And frankly, Toad is just generic Mario NPC for me. And while things like Captain Toad give it more personality, it is still an idea I'm not exactly fond of. Captain Toad is more Hat Goomba than Bandana D will ever be. Anyways, I like all the creativity that has come out of the community trying to come up with a moveset for Toad, whether it be trying to make it so he can't jump or having him be an amalgamation of spin-off gimmicks, but I just don't see it myself. I do want to clarify, when I say unnecessary, it doesn't mean bad choice, but more so someone in a series that has a lot of characters already, or someone who, in my opinion, is a downgrade over other character choices. Either way, if your most wanted was Kamek or Mallow, I'm not trying to shit on you, it's Smash at the end of the day. First up in this tier is the Rhythm Heaven Wrestler. He is the first of a few Rhythm Heaven choices in here, and I really only throw him in as I always saw him as the Rhythm Heaven rep I wanted most. I mean, his minigame's like the most memed on the internet. Frankly, he would do what any Rhythm Heaven rep could do, and that is why he is so far down this list. We'll see more Rhythm Heaven later. Lotus from Warframe. I include this as a cool possibility for the game to be in Smash, but a hella unlikely one. While Smash fans across the world have their own weird picks for more serious characters they want in Smash, for instance, I'm still praying for the Chief, I don't think any Warframe fans are crying out for a character. The Elite Beat Agents. They have style, but they are just another dead series. Fun idea, no clue how the execution will work, and frankly, I don't think anyone's clamoring for them either. Snip and Clip. Snipper Clips would have been the perfect candidate for a stage or an assist trophy, but I've seen requests for them as a character. I think the snipping mechanic that Snipper Clips is known for might be a strenuous idea for a moveset, but I think done right, these two could be really cool, if ultimately unsatisfying to the fanbase. Henry Fleming from Codename Steam. Codename Steam, which I don't think anyone else knows or cares about, is such a unique game and such a weird concept. Literary characters in a steampunk world, but also an XCOM-esque RPG. My personal pick for getting a character from this series is Tiger Lily, but frankly, I love this game, and any rep from it would be good for me. But as this category's name implies, I don't think anyone else would want a character from Codename Steam, and I don't think anyone else actually played this. Fun fact, this game also had a bunch of Fire Emblem characters in it. Cranky Kong, the second best choice for a Donkey Kong Smash rep. With him being playable in Tropical Freeze, it's opened my eyes to how much fun he could be as a Smash character. I would really love a Scrooge McDuck style Pogo as a moveset in Smash. However, other than that, I don't really know if anyone explicitly likes Cranky as an option. It seems after K. Rool, Donkey Kong fans are mostly happy anyways. Prince Fluff. Kirby's Epic Yarn is such a weird outlier in the series, and that's coming from a game series with a bunch of weird spin-offs, but I think that everyone agrees that Epic Yarn was something else at the time it came out. I think the reason people come out in support of Prince Fluff is because of how Epic Yarn plays completely differently from every other Kirby game, and well, I get it, but Kirby's Epic Yarn is old enough to make me think that Prince Fluff is a rare character choice. Maria Renard from Castlevania. If we were to get another Castlevania rep, I'd want it to be her. She's basically a little girl who's super fucking good with magic and has animal familiars, and I just think she's one of the few Castlevania characters who could actually do something unique in Smash. But I'll be the first to tell you that my knowledge of the Castlevania series isn't that deep, so take my words with a grain of salt. Silver the Hedgehog, my personal favorite for a Sonic character. Silver is a weird pick. He debuted in the game that is labeled the fall of the Sonic franchise, but ultimately, I really like Silver. He's a cool character, and his telekinetic abilities could make for a more interesting moveset than a lot of other Sonic characters, but again, he's just not that popular amongst Sonic fans. I agree, there is a better choice for the Sonic series. The Mario Rabbids. I always thought with the amount of weird new stuff Ubisoft introduced with the Mario and Rabbids game, they had planned for multiple sequels. But it's been years and nothing's been announced. And Ubisoft releases games so much faster than other companies. Either way though, these guys are fun, and I think they'd make a good introduction into Smash. With plenty of weapons, both melee and long range as weird gimmicks for them, I think that these two could make a pretty fun moveset. Also, I just found out researching for this video that the base Rabbid doesn't have a spirit, only these guys do. Weird, huh? Fawful. I like the Mario and Luigi series, and much like many Smash fans these days, I wonder how they have so many Mario characters on the roster and still manage to not have representation from so many Mario spin-offs. Fawful is my choice from the Mario and Luigi series because, from my admittedly limited understanding, he seems to be the villain that everyone likes the most. Plus, I just like his design. Look at that big toothy grin. These next three characters are all from series I have a huge love for, so these picks might be a little biased. Sorry, not sorry. Spectre Knight. I love the Shovel Knight series. I completed all 4 campaigns, some multiple times, and frankly, I think aside from the Blue Man himself, this is the best possible pick from the series. King Knight and Plague Knight also share the moniker of being a protagonist in this series, but based off of Yacht Club's marketing, it kind of feels like Spectre Knight is the one they see as like the second protagonist, having a much more personal story like Shovel Knight as his campaign, as well as the campaign first releasing on Switch. Not to mention, his moveset in the base game translates so well to a moveset in Smash. He's in this tier because frankly, I think if we're getting anyone, it's going to be Shovel Knight. QB! Box Boy is another series that I've completed every entry of, and I have no shame in saying that. It's such a ridiculously charming puzzler that manages to be aesthetically pleasing even without the use of color. All the different boxes in combination with the gimmick of throwing them around all willy-nilly seems like a fun moveset for Smash, like Snake pushed to the extreme. Although I know this series has always been a smaller one, like Pushmo, so I'm willing to acknowledge that no one else out here is clamoring for QB like I am. And lastly in this category, the Masked Man, from Mother 3. Aside from being such an important character in the story, Masked Man just looks fucking cool. He could do some cool shit as a moveset, and I think because of that, he serves as the best villain character they could implement as a villain for the Mother series. People say Porky and the Spider Mech could be cool, but like a twisted version of the archetype that Nessa and Lucas already inhabit in Smash sounds way cooler to me. And I'll have you know, since I'm a Mother cuck shill, it took a lot of power for me to not put all sorts of Mother characters in here. So I narrowed it down to 2, which means that out of all the characters in Mother that I think could have had a cool moveset, Masked Man stands out the most to me. This tier is the potential rich popularity flat tier, so while it includes a lot of cool ideas, frankly we all know any of these guys are stretches. Let's move on to the more boring characters. This tier is meant to be more of an inverse of the last tier, with characters who are just boring in comparison, even if it's a bit more likely than the last tier. And starting off in this tier is Tetra. I know calling Tetra boring is going to upset some people, and I don't mean Tetra's a boring character, but I feel like if she was to be put in Smash, she'd be less exciting than the others. Tetra is also still not who I would think would be the best Zelda character for Smash, but she is miles more interesting than the past characters. Frankly, I think if they took inspiration from her Warriors design, we could get a really interesting moveset out of her. Next up is a bunch of Street Fighter characters, but as with every time I group people, just to make sure I maintain this worst to best thing, Juri, M. Bison, Cammy, Zangief, and Chun-Li. They all kind of fill the same niche as Ryu and Ken, and fuck, even Terry. I love the idea of another Street Fighter character, but we already have 3 characters who have the command inputs for different moves, the always facing each other gimmick, and play relatively similar. I think they need to do something incredibly different if they were to add another Street Fighter character, so it wouldn't fall into the same nonsense. I love these characters, but adding a Street Fighter character just seems like nonsense at this point. The Labo Robot, or any form of Labo really. I like the idea, but this seems more like a stage or assist trophy concept than it does an actual character. I don't think transforming cardboard is something people actually are going to jump on for a character. Kinda miss the Smash Wii U days when stages would just randomly drop as DLC, because then I could totally see a Labo stage happening. And in a similar vein to Labo, the Ring Fit trainers. In my eyes, I see them more as a Wii Fit trainer with more interesting special moves, but basing a whole character off a weird gimmick product seems a bit weird in today's Smash landscape. Mach Rider. Mach Rider was one of the only characters in the Grinch League who wasn't hilariously requested. He seemed to fill that random retro character that always seemed to happen in the older Smash games, but if he was to be a DLC character released now, I don't think anyone would really mind or really love his inclusion. Impa. Impa is one of the few Zelda characters who appears in different iterations, like the original cast. Up until this point, we've only talked about characters who exist in 1 or 2 games, but Impa has existed in many, which makes her one of the better picks as a character in my opinion. But I still don't think she's that interesting of a character choice. Personally, if we did get her, I would love to see her Warriors interpretation, but again, I really don't think that's that interesting. Andy from Advance Wars. Oh, Andy, how you fell from grace in the eyes of the Smash fans. You were once one of the most wanted back during the Wii U 3DS days, but now no one talks about you anymore. You, my friend, are cool. You can have a cool moveset, fun gimmick, but your inclusion in Smash isn't gonna break the internet nowadays. Loki from Bayonetta 2. Still not my favorite pick for another Bayonetta character, but I really enjoy this guy. He could be a fun character, but unless he has a role in Bayonetta 3, which based off the ending of Bayonetta 2, no spoilers, I do not think he's going to have a role, at least in this iteration of the character, which means I don't think he has the hype to make it as a Smash character. Fiora from Xenoblade. She's cool, I love her. She's massively spoiled in every Smash game. I think she'd be an interesting pick for a Smash fighter, and amongst different Xenoblade characters, she's definitely one of the best picks for a new fighter. But as with most people in this tier, she really doesn't bring much hype except to a relatively small group of people. She would make those people very happy, but most of the Smash base will see her as another anime character, which is why I think she adds very little. And now the final character for this category. She is the ultimate adds very little to Smash character. So let's play a game. Do you recognize this character? How about now? Well, if you did, pat yourself on the back, because unlike most people, you actually remembered Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE came out. And here's the thing. I have never played this game for myself, but in my research for this video, I saw Tsubasa Oribe as a spirit in Smash, so I watched some gameplay of it, and there's something so fucking endearing about this weird-ass idol pop star concert with turn-based combat. I love it. I might have to look at this game someday. Is it any good? I wonder. Tsubasa is the ultimate adds nothing to Smash, but just look at her. She may be anime as fuck, but I love her design and want to see this game get a bit more attention. This concludes the category that is likely going to piss a lot of people off. So if you made it past this, thank you. But we are only halfway through this ranking, so let's power through. So I don't think I need to explain this tier. As I go on, it'll be obvious. Starting us off is the protagonist from Astral Chain. This is a weird one-off game from Platinum Games, but I think the Legion mechanic has enough water to fuel a pretty interesting moveset. Other than that, though, I don't think this character is really all that exciting. Let's move on. Hector from Fire Emblem. So the first true Fire Emblem character on this list, and it's this high, that should have ruffled some feathers. This version of Hector is from Fire Emblem Blazing Blade, also known as just Fire Emblem, or Fire Emblem 7, or the first international Fire Emblem. I think this is one of the reasons he is seen as a wanted lord out of all the possible ones. The other reason people want him? His big, floppy axe. He's actually the first lord to use an axe pre-promotion. Pretty nifty, huh? I think people purely want him as some sort of variation to the Fire Emblem swordy archetype. The series weapon triangle was only completed recently after all with Byleth. A new non-sword Fire Emblem character might tick off some people, but frankly, I think he's just a cool looking dude, like a better Ike. Okay, time for another group of characters. Medusa, Hades, and Viridi, all from Kid Icarus. These three all serve the same purpose in my mind, a new Kid Icarus character. I say they are divisive because people who do not like or know about Kid Icarus will probably react lukewarmly to these characters. Frankly, I still haven't played Uprising, so I'll just tell you that these three are fun choices, but none really astound me either. Raiden from Metal Gear Solid, the only Metal Gear character on this list, and frankly the only other Metal Gear character I could see warranting a slot on this list. For those who don't know, this guy was a minor character in Metal Gear Solid only to become a main character in his own spin-off title, made by the only people who make hack and slash games nowadays, Platinum Games, in which he became a cyborg killing machine ninja, and frankly, that's pretty badass. He could play like a mix of Marth and Bayonetta, and just hearing that concept now sounds so evil, I love it. But he would upset people in the sense that he's not as hype as a brand new character. It'd be like Korn in the Smash 4 days. Anna from Fire Emblem. My reasoning for putting her up so high is that she's the only character who's appeared in every Fire Emblem game, except for these two, but no one likes these two, so it's fine. She's like the Tingle of Fire Emblem, always appearing, running a secret shop. She has more screen time than half the characters we actually have in Smash, so she seems like a good fit. My only gripe is, well, she's a Fire Emblem character. That would naturally lead Smash fans to complaining. And lastly in this category, Wolf-Link. Not Midna, I know she's on the Spirit and such, but we all know the only way she is getting in is via Wolf-Link. Frankly, my reasoning is just that. Even the Midna and Wolf-Link amiibo isn't listed as Midna and Wolf-Link, but rather just Wolf-Link. And that's where the divisive part comes in. If we do get Wolf-Link, it would kill any and all hope for Midna to be her own character. Hell, even the Warriors appearance had her riding a wolf as such a large part of it. But yeah, I know I said no assist trophies. Is this cheating? No, because I'm talking about the wolf, not Midna. So I tried to write this part of the script multiple times, but I'll just say it now. Describing multiple characters as perfect as an Echo Fighter can get really redundant. We all know that in order to be an Echo Fighter, you really just have to share dimensions with the original character and have similar moves. So fuck it. There's no point in saying that 8 times. I'll just rattle them off in quick succession. Most Smash YouTubers have already touched on how each of these characters could work as an Echo anyways, so you don't need me to explain it. Anyways, maintaining worst to best, it is Ninten, Base, Proto Man, Charlie, Louie, Brittany, Jean, and the Octolings. You've probably already heard a million times that these characters would work great as Echo Fighters, so let's not dwell on it and just move on to a group that does need explanation. So before we start on this one, I want to say outdated here doesn't necessarily mean they were released too long ago to be considered, but rather their prime time has passed. You'll see what I mean when I get into it. Let's just start it. Ray Mark III from Custom Robo. Ray is one of those characters I saw so many requests for back in the day, and well, he has all the makings of a good Smash character, other than the fact that his series has had such a small amount of games and not a new entry in the last 13 years. I don't think he's a bad idea for a character in today's Smash landscape, but he's not going to sell DLC packs, and that's the unfortunate truth. Tom Nook from Animal Crossing. Tom Nook is a weird one. Prior to Isabelle, I would have expected Tom Nook to get that designation of slightly different villager clone kind of character, but since Isabelle has kind of become the main Animal Crossing character aside from the player character, she got that designation instead. I could still see Tom Nook as another pseudo-clone of villager, but I really don't think he's the move, unfortunately. Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven. These guys were quote-unquote leaked multiple times in Smash history, which I think attests to their popularity. I love me some Rhythm Heaven, but there is one character that seems to have claimed popularity as the #1 wanted from Rhythm Heaven, so the Chorus Kids have been left in his wake. Chibi Robo and Paper Mario. I'm looping these two together for one point. Both of these characters have had several games since their original release that heavily deviated from the format that people loved about the originals. And you just know that if either of these characters got into Smash, they'd be plagued by moves from the games that people didn't like. Chibi Robo throwing his plug or Paper Mario stretching out his paper arms. Which isn't to say I don't want either of these characters to get in, but I think they would have major disappointments if put into Smash. Next up is probably the best new Mario character they could add, Geno. This man has had more than a decade of people hyping him up as a character for these games, and holy shit dude, he has always been one of the most wanted characters across the board for every Smash game. I remember people being crushed when he was a spirit. Well, now's your time, Geno fans. I've always liked Geno, but frankly, he still is just kind of a weird character. He's really old and from one game. I admire Geno fans for being so dedicated, but he's by all accounts an outdated character. Not like that really hurts his chances, though. Next up is my personal favorite for a new Zelda character, and that is Tingle. Tingle is like Impa in the sense that he's one of the few Zelda characters that reoccurs throughout several iterations, just like our main cast, and he is just so goofy. I could see him working perfectly as a Smash character, assaulting folks with rupees and what have you. He is outdated in my opinion because he really hasn't been in a mainline Zelda title in quite a while, unless you count Hyrule Warriors, but that's still pretty old by now. He was referenced in Breath of the Wild as a costume, but so was everything else Zelda, so I don't know if that counts. I could still see him one day, but it seems like his time's passed. Now for Magolor and Marks. Two very noteworthy Kirby villains from games that have come out years ago. I love the Kirby series so much, but I think that the Kirby series has a particular other character I'd like to see as a character first, although that doesn't change me from feeling that these two could both work as amazing characters in their own right. They are just both kinda irrelevant, and frankly, if I'm being honest, difficult to come up with a whole moveset for. And lastly, from the outdated group, Elma, from Xenoblade Chronicles X. X was such a weird game for the series, but Elma's a fucking badass, and I love her so much. Frankly, I was surprised she didn't show up as a DLC character in Smash 4, but with Xenoblade Chronicles X pretty much done and gone, we are likely not going to get a visit from her in Smash anytime soon. And well, that can be said for all of these characters. Once upon a time, they were the cream of the crop, but now they're just kinda irrelevant or not who they once were. It's a shame, but I still consider them prime candidates for being a Smash character. Okay, from here on out, these are all characters that, if announced tomorrow, I would easily lose my fucking cool. These guys are all great, they all have movesets that I think could easily make a fun character. And starting off this portion of the ranking is an unorthodox pick, Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil is one of the only series in gaming that has a mature branding, but it's still largely associated with Nintendo because of one game and a weird controller. And while I'm pretty sure his spirit being in Smash is basically just a fun bit of cross-promotion and nothing more, I saw his spirit on the list and I just thought to myself, holy shit, why not? Leon isn't really the main character of Resident Evil, but he's definitely the main character of the most popular game in the series, as well as having appeared in multiple games. This, and with Resident Evil 4 possibly getting a remake soon, and Resident Evil 8 not being too far off in the future, he seems like a candidate. I could see him reasonably coming into Smash, kinda like Snake or Bayonetta. Yeah, he's a bit mature, but at least with Resident Evil 4, it seems a bit more hokey and self-aware that I can easily see his inclusion. Next up, Dixie Kong. This is it, everyone. This is the DK rep that I think makes the most sense. And I mean, come on, the first 3 characters you can play as in the Donkey Kong series are fucking Donkey, Diddy, and Dixie. I was so sure at the end of the K. Rool trailer she was gonna show up and turn the tides for the Kongs, it would have been perfect. But alas, we did not get that. Fuck, if K. Rool could come back after God knows how long, I am sure Dixie is still somewhat in the running. Cuphead, and likely an alt for Mugman. These two are kinda weird picks for a character, but all the makings are there. They have an easily translatable moveset, they are more relevant now than ever with a delicious Last Course and Netflix show coming out, but something about them feels wrong. Can't really put my finger on it. I know Cuphead has a Mii costume, but just looking at them, I can't say for sure whether or not I'm fully on board with them becoming characters. I don't know. But the makings are there, and I'd be excited for them regardless, so they get this spot on the list. Tails! Fuck, dude, I really thought we would have had another Sonic character before we had 8 Fire Emblems, but you know what, I'll take it. Tails is the most loyal sidekick someone could ask for, and it seems outrageous to me that while some fans want another nobody Sega character in the game, they don't even look back at the eternal homie, Tails. He just seems like such a perfect fit to me that I can't get over it, although I would hope they give him a more inspired moveset than what Sonic ended up getting. From this point on, these are all characters I am personally super fucking hoping for, so let's go. Karate Joe, my personal and seemingly the internet's favorite pick for a Rhythm Heaven character. Rhythm Heaven is such a wild series that frankly any of these guys could have done it, but just look at Joe. He's been there since the Dark Ages and is like every game. He's just so endearing, and a rhythm-based moveset might be really fucking cool. I have no idea how it would work, but I am praying he somehow finds his way in. Bandana Waddle Dee. I am a Kirby guy. I love these games. I have always loved them since I first played Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland at like the age of 4. I will always have this love for the series, and for that reason I ask, where has Bandana Dee been this whole time? Like, okay, I don't mean to come off as presumptuous, but Bandana Dee is basically the 4th main character of Kirby at this point. In every game, it always has fucking Kirby, DDD, Meta Knight, and right there is Bandana Dee with them. He's such a good little lad, and he has one of the most iconic boss fights in the entire Kirby series. I understand the comparison of Hat Goomba, and I think it's a fair one, but Mario has an entire character devoted to showing off a generic enemy character. Why can't we have a designated important member of the generic enemy class? I can see now that there's going to be a few people upset because I said I didn't like Captain Toad but really love Bandana Dee. But for one, Bandana Dee is way more important than Captain Toad, and Mario has 10 characters, Kirby has 3. I just want to finish off the set, you know? Rayman from, well, Rayman. This is another character that I am absolutely in love with. Ever since that one leak back in the Smash 4 days and Artsy Omni and all that, he has just been one I've really wanted. I mean, look at this gameplay and tell me it's not compelling enough to warrant a character. Rayman is one of those characters who's been redefined a few times throughout his life, but like every appearance, he's just so endearing, from the weird-looking 3D platformers of the olden days to the artistic beauty that is Rayman Legends. Not to mention that the arguably best version of Rayman Legends released on the Wii U. But I digress. Rayman is super fucking cool. Rex, Pyra, and Mithra. Of course, this is just me assuming that these will all be one playable character, but if you played the game, I'm sure you can guess why. I love me some fucking Xenoblade, and with Rex, you can really throw some fun new gimmicks into the game. For those who haven't played Xenoblade 2, I don't blame you, it's kinda bananas, but you can switch between these two, basically giving Rex 2 playstyles and a possible Smash interpretation. Seems super wacky and fun, and I love it. Fuck, even Sakurai loves it, making Rex the character we got as a Mii costume because Xenoblade 2 released too close to the original game's release date. Well, now's your chance, Sakurai. Wonder Red from the Wonderful 101. He's a bit tricky to implement into Smash, but I still think the Wonderful 100 has some merit. This game's whole gimmick is that people can transform into different weapons, and you can have up to 100 of them. So you draw a shape with the people transform into that weapon, you attack. A Smash interpretation of this would have to be super watered down, but I love this game so much. So much so that I've kept my Twitter profile picture as Wonderpink for basically as long as I've had the account. I think now with the re-release of the game for multiple platforms, Wonderful 101 has reinvigorated interest, but I don't know if that reinvigorated interest will be enough. Either way, I really hope this game can make it into Smash. And now, the last character, and my most wanted spirit in all of Smash Ultimate. A character who I wanted back in 2014. A character who I voted for in the Smash ballot. A character whose games I have played every day on launch since then. Shantae, the half-genie hero herself. She just seems like such a natural fit for Smash. Hell, I even made a video way back in the day on how I would interpret her in Smash, and while that video doesn't hold the same bar of quality that this one does, I stand by it. Throughout Smash 4's DLC run, I was hoping it would be her. Throughout Ultimate's launch, I was hoping it would be her. And now, with the recently disproven Spirit Theory, I'm ready to spend another round of DLC praying for her inclusion. I am ready to go. So that was my ranking of what I consider to be the most likely Smash Spirits. Granted, with a list like this, people have very different opinions on what they want from a character and different qualifications than I do. So, I invite with you to come discuss with me down there in the comments. In fact, I actually used Tier List Maker to help me sort out my thoughts for this video initially, so I'm giving everyone the template I used to make this tier list in the description. I even added little icons to all the spirits to help identify what series they're from. So please, make your own spin on this tier list. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would invite people to share in the comments of this video, but YouTube isn't very kind to those who post links in the comment section, so I instead invite you to share this with me on Twitter at RVRocks, or use the hashtag RVSpiritTierList. I'll be checking those often. Also, I'm posting this on the few of the Smash-based subreddits, so if you found me there, please don't hesitate to reach out over there as well. If you made it all the way through this video, you clearly care about Smash Bros or my thoughts to some degree, so however you can, I would love to talk to you. That includes in the comments. I love talking about this stuff, so I will always respond in the comments. Anyways, with all that being said, if you liked what you saw here today, please make sure to like and subscribe and all the YouTube stuff. I'm a very small creator in the grand scheme of things, so these actions actually help me a lot more than most of the people who asked to do this stuff, so it's especially appreciated. And well, I've been RVRocks, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!